What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 160 of the fantasyfocus.com podcast. Ryan Levy here with Derek Tate and Matt Bucks, headed into the divisional round of the playoffs. How you boys doing this week?
I mean, I'm fantastic, other than the fact that we only have 3 weeks of NFL football left, and I'm not including the Pro Bowl because I never include the Pro Bowl. That shit does not count.
So this is episode 160, right?
Yes, sir.
Last time I weighed 160, I was about 5 years old. It's been a lot of weight over these years, and if you lose me for a bit, it's because I got a nice little casserole in the oven, so I might have to go stir that baby up just a little bit while we go through. Just letting you boys know, I'm trying to watch my figure. Got a nice little veggie casserole brewing.
We got plenty to talk about, boys. Some good games last week. Derek, what's your initial thoughts from last weekend?
Defense is starting to rear its head for some of these teams. I think that playoff football is so much different than regular season football, and it was just evident in wild card weekend. I mean, including the finale, which really stood out to me. The Chicago Bears, BDN, Nick Foles yet again with some just gusto, being able to somehow come through with a win at Chicago by only putting up 16 points. The Philadelphia defense showed up, and of course the double doink. I mean, what a way to end wildcard weekend.
You can't triple doink a double doink. I know that much. But in BDN, with absolutely no running game, he went up to the guy and he put his hog right on that bean y'all got up there. Just slapped his bean.
He did.
And Chicago's in like a state of depression. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No running games. Darren Sproles led the way with 21 yards rushing.
It was remarkable watching that game. And BDN, he has this innate ability to feel as it's bearing down on him, inches away from him, and he rearranges his arm angle and just gets the ball out on target. It's amazing watching BDN do his thing. He's jumping on that bean, I'll tell you that. Flicking it a bit.
Yeah, that was a tough one to swallow for me, boys, because I had the Bears as the fourth leg of two different parlays, so that stung a little bit, but I mean, you said it best. Defense, man. I mean, there was some great defense. The Chargers played great D. Colts played good defense. Colts are my
great
team.
Defense.
Bucks, you and I had the Colts over the Texans. Tate, I know you thought the Texans were going to move on there. I'm looking back at our notes. We all had the Cowboys to move on. That was a good game. So,
oh, it was a good game until Sebastian Janikowski had to go and tear his ass muscle. Yeah, once you tear that ass muscle and you take the Cowboys -2.5, and then they go ahead and go for 2. I've never really screamed at a TV louder than when they approached that. I mean, for Christ's sake, the coaching there was asinine, in my opinion. There has to be someone that can make an extra point. Well, right. I guess in the NFL, it's a little bit deeper than it used to be. So a drop kick wouldn't really get it done. Would they have let that punter drop kick it?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty confident that all that has to happen is the ball has to hit the ground and then you can hit it. You don't need a holder.
Interesting.
Either way, they weren't willing to risk it. They'd rather roll the dice on the 2-point conversion, which
they screwed us all.
Yeah, that was a bad beat.
Chargers dominated.
I mean, really,
they're surprised by that.
I mean, the Ravens. Lamar Jackson looked completely inept through 3.5 quarters of football, and then really kind of made a push in the fourth quarter to make things a little bit interesting there. But I mean, ultimately Melvin Gordon put it away on like a 3rd and 6 sweep to the left side. And I mean, the Chargers looked good. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game at Foxborough as he goes to visit Tom Brady.
I felt like that was a bizarre game. That was a very bizarre game. I mean, both teams under 250 total yards. Phil Riv, not really slinging it. Didn't really have to. Melvin Gordon, a staple game for Melvin, carries 40 yards, touchdown. That's kind of what the guy does. So I look forward to these matchups matchups going in quite a bit, fellas. Quite a bit.
Yeah, the spread's set at 4 in that game, if that's a good segue there. There is snow in the forecast, so I'm a little iffy on this game.
I'm going with Pill Rivers. Phil, old Philly cream cheese up there. Old sling master with his cream cheese.
I mean, you want to ride Phillip Rivers. I mean, it just seems as if Phillip Rivers isn't going to have many more opportunities. I mean, I know that they have a lot of talent, and they actually had a couple injuries heading into this season currently. But, man, I feel as if they have a golden opportunity here. Brady has not looked like Tom Brady this season. I mean, we've already kind of mentioned it. I think the storm, like the table is set for Phillip Rivers to go into Foxborough and upset the Patriots. So I'm actually going to, if the Patriots are favored by 4 points, I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers to cover the spread all day. And I actually think that they can win this one outright.
I agree. All three of us are on the same side here.
Hey, note that the Chargers are 8-1 on the road this year. It's like they hate playing in that little pillbox that they call the StubHub Center out there in Carson, California. Nice little shit suburb of LA.
Meanwhile, the Pats are 8-0 at home.
Well, the Pats are always going to be that way. I've been less impressed than I have been in about 10 years. I've been more impressed with what the Chargers have been able to do, especially on the road. And Phil Rivers, I mean, I'm pretty confident last weekend he put number 10 in the belly. He's putting number 11 in the belly this weekend.
I like it.
Do you guys you catch my drift?
I catch your drift there, yes.
I catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doubling down on his bets.
He's doubling down. He's going
some
for it.
Some say it's physically possible, but they never met Phil Rivers. Gosh darn it. Dag nabbit.
Let's talk about the other games before we talk about the head coaching changes. Cowboys on the road at the Rams are 7-point dogs.
7.5. It just moved.
$7.5. All right. Your thoughts?
LA. Dallas don't have that juice. And Sean McVay, he will outcoach Jason Garrett in this game. I know the spread's a bit extended. I think the Rams win. I might lean towards the Cowboys if it stays over 7 because I like those football numbers, but I think the Rams win this game outright.
Hater. I mean, I'm gonna go Cowboys cover the spread, Rams win the game. So because that's a high spread. And the one thing that the Cowboys do very well is they run the football. I mean, they have the leading rusher in the NFL with Ezekiel Elliott. And as head-scratching as it may be with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh up front, the Rams actually are pretty susceptible versus the run. So, and they have a solid defensive unit to go along with a strong running game. And let's not forget that the Rams offense really has not looked like the Rams offense. They kind of stumbled their way through the back quarter of the season.
Yep.
So skid marks.
It's definitely mad skid marks. As they went into the playoffs ass backwards. So, pun intended.
Same with the Chiefs. I mean, same with the Chiefs
Cowboys
as well.
7.5 too. Tate, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I do think the Rams will win. I do think Sean McVay is the better coach by a landslide. But I do see this being a close game. Dallas's defense and their running game trying to control the clock. But I still think Todd Gurley is going to do Todd Gurley things in this game. I don't think the Rams are going to lay postseason eggs 2 years in a row.
All right.
I'm with you. I'm the same way because 7.5, that gets you beyond that football number of 7. And I have to think the Cowboys do keep it close. But I just love the fact that we get another 3-4 years of Jason Garrett based off one playoff victory. Yep. That makes me smile.
The game with the highest over-under is 57. The Colts at the Chiefs. Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites. Bucks, what's your thoughts on this game?
Colts, too hot. The defense has been playing lights out since week 7. I like the Colts. I like the way that entire team is geared right now. The guy Leonard, is that his name? Darius Leonard? 53. That guy is playing out of his ass. He's flying around like he's Mike Singletary.
It's an all-pro. I mean, he's had a great season, obviously, and he got the accolades to go along with it.
And then Quincy Wilson just shutting down DeAndre Hopkins last week. Quincy Wilson coming on strong here this second. Their quarterback. I like what I see from the Colts. I think they have too many threats on offense. And the Chiefs, that just like the LA Rams, they have been skidding into this playoff season. I think Andrew Luck with his weird ass voice is going to get it done, man. I don't know how they end. I'm taking Colts with points because the Chiefs are still the Chiefs with the best offense in the game. So the Colts have their hands full, but that Chiefs defense is putrid, and the Colts are clicking pretty much on all cylinders right now. Give me the Colts with the points, but I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to actually say money line. I'm betting the Colts money line on this one.
I'm going Colts money line as well. Tate, what do you got?
I'm going Kansas City. I do think the Colts are it's going to be a close game. Now, what's the spread for the Colts or for the Chiefs?
5.5.
5.5. I actually will take the Colts on the spread because Andrew Luck's going to keep it close and he's going to keep firing away. And I do agree with you guys that there is definitely a chance that the Colts could win this one outright. I do believe that they're playing better on the defensive side of the football right now than the Kansas City Chiefs. But there's something about having to go into Arrowhead, guys, that's not easy to go and do at any moment, much less in the playoffs. So I love the home field advantage that the Kansas City Chiefs get in this matchup. And the Colts, one thing that they did, and I actually thought that the Texans, you guys are right. I thought the Texans were going to go ahead and handle business because I didn't think the Colts were going to be able to run the football on the Texans front unit. And I was 100% wrong about that. Despite them struggling to run on the Texans defense in the regular season, they absolutely came out and punched the Texans in the mouth. Marlon Mack, 148 yards rushing on 24 carries. Mack is fine. He has found his groove down the stretch of the regular season and has carried that momentum into the postseason. I do think Mack's going to have himself a quality game. I actually, as far as DFS, I'm teasing. There's going to be quite a few Colts in my lineup, but I'm still going to go ahead and go with Patty Mahomes at home to get at least one victory in this postseason, even though Andrew Luck is fantastic and the Colts are red hot.
I told you 25 touches for Marlon Mack and they get a win, and he got them.
Got 24. Pretty close.
Yeah, two catches as well.
So. Oh, well, yeah, 25 total touches. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Last one we didn't talk about real quick. Eagles at Saints. The Saints are 8-point favorites at home. Tater?
I'm not taking this. I'm not betting against Nick Foles against the spread. 8 points is way too damn high. And speaking of offenses, Bucky, that were kind of stumbling or going in ass backwards, skid marks all over the place, leaving skid marks as they get into the playoffs. The Saints were really struggling on the offensive side of the football outside of one matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers the last month of the season. I know that they absolutely wiped the floor with the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 11. They dropped 48 points on the defending Super Bowl champions at home. So you got to think, if you look back to just even recency biases of this season, you would think that the Saints should be able to take care of business at home. But I thought that the same thing with a much better defense with Chicago this past weekend. And Nick Foles, there's something about this team. It's a team that knows how to win. They're a proven winner. I think the Saints win this game, but I think it's going to be a close one. And I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game.
I've learned my lesson, man. Last year, I bet against the Eagles too much, and last week I bet against them again. So I'm just staying away from them however I can, unless it's a teaser. But shall we get into – well, let's talk about some head coaches real quick, Derek.
Okay. Go ahead.
Matt LaFleur goes to Green Bay. Let's start with that. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, Tennessee's offense looked decent there. They finally figured out Derrick Henry. Now they lose their offensive coordinator. What's your thoughts on him going to Green Bay?
No, I was pretty high on him and pretty high on the Titans offense heading into this season, and I really thought that they disappointed. So I'm very surprised to see that Matt LaFleur, even though I do think he's a quality offensive minded coach to go with Aaron Rodgers, I'm a little surprised to see that he got as much attention as he did by the Packers. Okay. So I don't hate the signing by any stretch. I do still think that he is a high quality offensive minded coach. I'm just a little surprised. We'll see how it works with him and Aaron Rodgers.
Bucky, any additional thoughts there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Old Stofers, you know what I mean? Had to go run to the Stouffer store. I think Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I think he's a better coach than Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you. I look for a more – yeah, I think he's going to be a better organized coach for Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know about it.
One thing I will say that makes me kind of scratch my head and question a little bit of Matt LaFleur's offensive competency. It took him 12 weeks to really figure out that Derrick Henry should be the feature back in this offense.
Yeah.
It took him way too long. This team probably would have made the playoffs if they would have committed to Derrick Henry being the feature back in this offense. Instead, they toyed around with Dion Lewis way too damn much. I mean, for that, I kind of want to hold that against him. I know Mariota was in and out of the offense. He was nicked up with injuries all season. But I got to tell you that I thought that offensive unit for the Titans really disappointed as a whole for this season. So I am a little bit surprised, and I can't just overlook the fact that he ignored Derrick Henry and gave Dion Lewis more snaps, more looks, more touches for the majority of the season until the very back end part.
All right. So give us your thoughts on Dirk Cutter going to Atlanta.
As the offensive coordinator, I'm fine with it. I mean, Dirk Cutter is a fine I thought for the most part that he's a pretty fine play caller, a good offensive mind. I think the signing there for the Falcons makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Comfortable there. I think it's a quality move. I don't think it's something that wows me, but I mean, I think he's much more suited for a coordinator role than the head coach role.
Okay. Agreed. I think he's going to have success there. Going back to his old roots. I mean, the offense there is loaded. We'll see what goes on. I think Ito Smith takes on the Tevin Coleman role going into next year, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Tevin Coleman's a great player. Ito Smith coming up those footsteps, I think he'll be just fine. I don't think he was a great head coach. But let's not forget. Let's go back to Green Bay. Let's not forget how shitty Mike McCarthy was. The old sandbox. I don't like living in a sandbox. And that's one thing I did appreciate about Dirk Cutter's offense as a Bucs fan was that it was defined. Vertical passing game was always on point for the most part when his quarterbacks would stop turning the ball over. And they have similar threats there in Atlanta. So I think he'll be doing just fine.
Derek, is Bruce Arians going to be the savior for Jameis Winston?
I don't know if I call him a savior, but I do think I think he's an upgrade at the head coach position over Dirk Cutter. So okay. I definitely think that it will help. And I'm interested to see what it does for the likes of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I actually am very excited with that prospect, as well as O.J. Howard. So, yeah, Bruce Arians has a lot of toys to play with. And hopefully he can get into Jameis Winston, get his claws into Jameis Winston, and can really just see him take the next step in his progress as a potential franchise quarterback. That's if the Bucs do, in fact, bring him back for this upcoming season.
Okay. Tater, you want to get the DFS lineup fired up over there?
Oh, I'm fired up and ready to go, baby. You guys just got to tell me who you like. So,
well, I want to start with Andy Luck at quarterback because he's only 6,200 this week on DraftKings, and that gives me the warm and fuzzies.
I don't know how Andrew Luck is only $6,200. That one is absolutely mind-blowing to me, given the options this week at quarterback. I mean, Drew Brees against Philadelphia's defense that looks completely different is 6,700. I mean, Mahomes, of course, should be the highest priced quarterback given his average of like 28 fantasy points per damn game for the entire year. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm all about Andrew Luck at 6,200.
I don't think Bucky's going to have any objections to that. It looks like he's getting himself a bush over there, but let's get Andy Luck in there. You want to move on to running back, Tater?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to propose this, a triple stack for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
I'm going to go Luck, Marlon Mack, and T.Y. Hilton. I want to go with all three of them because, again, I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I want the quarterback that in his top option, he's going to keep firing away to try to keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
It's almost like you came over here and we're looking through my screen at my paper here because I literally have Luck, Mack, T.Y., and Inman and a Braun written down. I have the 5-way stack written down, Tater.
I mean, a 5 stack is absurd, but it's an absurdity that I can get on board with.
Similar to the triple meat at Chipotle.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, at first, I'll give you a couple odd looks, but then, yeah, it kind of makes sense. You just want more of what you like.
I know Bucky will not object.
It's like me and Bush Light.
Exactly.
Bucky will never object to having Mack, Hilton, and Luck in a lineup.
Well, I do want to offer this little piece of wisdom. Considering we are going in a GPP, a larger tournament, you have Mahomes at the top of the pecking order here in terms of the cost, right? Mahomes.
Yep.
Andrew Luck is slightly beneath that. So I feel like Andrew Luck is going to be extremely, extremely chalky. Obviously, with a smaller pool of games, it's harder to stay away from chalk. I get that. I want to go with the guy who just put that hog on the beam. Nick Foles, 5,400.
Oh, come on now.
Hey, listen. The team they are going up against, 31st in opposing points to quarterbacks.
Tate, you're going to have to change your mind because I am not on board with Nick Foles. So if you want to change your mind because of Bucky's sales pitch, the lineup is in your hands, brother.
I'm not. I mean, as much as Foles was my second option as far as the quarterbacks and what I like price-wise for this weekend set of games, but I'm not going to sway away from Andrew Luck at 6,200. There's no way in hell.
Cool. Fire him in there, Tater.
He's in.
I wanted to offer some insight. I wanted to offer a little bit of insight. That's all. That's it.
I like I love the take with Foles, and I agree the matchup is delectable, and he's playing indoors.
Delectable.
Yeah,
kind of like this veggie Cass.
Just like the veggie Cass.
For RB2, I'd like to propose Zeke as our most expensive player at 8,200. You know he's going to get the ball 25 times. They need that to stand a chance in this game. I like him to be the number 1 fantasy player of the week.
So do we have Mac and TY in there?
Yeah.
Good. I want that.
I actually, with Zeke or Todd Gurley, which are both 8,200 or 8,000, I actually want to go with Melvin Gordon. Ooh. Melvin Gordon's at $6,200.
Okay.
And can you really tell me, like, as far as on a point per game basis, when Melvin Gordon was healthy, there wasn't that much of a difference. There really wasn't. I mean, I'm just saying how much money you can save with Melvin Gordon, even though, I understand that he hasn't, certainly in the postseason. I mean, hell, Gurley hasn't even played a game. But, I mean, the point being, I'm just high on Melvin Gordon given his price tag. The guy is a bona fide top 5 running back all damn season, and he's $1,800 less than Todd Gurley and $2,000 than Zeke.
I'm staying away from Zeke, and I also want to mention Kamara at 7,300.
If I've got to choose between those two, I'm going to go Gordon. I'm with you, Tate. Because then we can get a sexy flex in there like, Tyreek Hill at 7,400.
All right, so we're fired in there right now. We have 17. We have plenty of money left. So let's go ahead, and if you guys want to go ahead and knock out a defense.
Rams
D against Dallas.
Rams D against Dallas.
I'm fine with that.
That's at 3.
Everything else kind of scares the bejesus out of me. That's the only one I look at, and I'm like, it's Jason Garrett calling plays. He's a Dumbo.
Right.
I don't think the Rams are going to lay a postseason egg 2 years in a row. I'm betting on Sean McVay. I'm betting on Todd Gurley this week.
So
Sean McVay, same age as us. I trust him.
Me too.
We got to go Ebron or Kelsey at tight end, right, boys?
Kelsey.
Ugh. I really want to go Ebron. I want to, but I do want to kind of spread my bullets out. I mean, he is, and also Kelsey is $1,500 more than Ebron. So, son of a gun.
I don't want that quad stack, man. Last time I had one of those, I didn't shit right for like 8 weeks. So
I have gotten quad meat one time at Chipotle. I mean, it felt real. I mean, it was a little overkill, but it was still very good. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to get Kelsey in our lineup though, because if the Chiefs are going to score some points, we got to get a Chief in our lineup. So who better than your boy Travis Kelsey?
Not too sure. I think we lost old Ryan Levy over here.
Oh boy. Well, then it's just up to us.
Frozen in time.
It's up to us, baby. It's just you and I, Buck.
I want Kelsey in there.
Let's go ahead. And then it's 2 to 3 anyway. So let's go ahead and move on.
All right. And so what does that leave us with for we have 2 more slots?
You have 2 more wide receivers and a flex that we have to fill out. So let's go ahead and jump to wide receiver. We got 15,000 remaining in salary, so 5,000 a piece or right around that range. So go ahead and throw some wide receivers at me.
I like Alshon at 5,800. I like the synergy and connection he has with Nick Foles. I mean, a couple of hogs out there just making it rain. Alshon, that back shoulder that they continue to go to, I think that continues to be the recipe there, a nice little chili recipe. 5,800, I feel like, is a very cheap deal for the guy who is the undoubted number 1 receiver in terms of Nick Foles. So give me Alshon at 58. I think that's a good play. And right in our price point. It's like, you know, when you give the lady a few bucks and you're like, hey, you know, keep it within reason. And she actually does. That's Alshon.
It's very rare that when you give the girlfriend an allotted amount of money to go buy something for you or for herself that she's able to stay within budget. Like that concept seems to be lost on a lot of girlfriends or any girlfriend that I've ever had that has earned that title. So correct. Very, very difficult. But yeah, right within our price point.
It's like shopping at Kohl's.
Precisely. Bucky, we're really vibing today, man. We're on the same page.
Yeah, bub.
Oh yeah. So as far as at wide receiver, we got to get one more in there. We got 9,300 left, so about 4,650 a piece. So I'm looking at some of these other options. We mentioned that we think that the Rams are going to go ahead and handle business against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm looking at Josh Reynolds at 4,500. I'm looking at Bob Woods and Brandon Cooks at 59 and 5,600 a piece, respectively. I want to get one of these Rams wide receivers in the lineup. So give me your thoughts on which of these 3 that you can see yourself putting in here.
Probably Josh Reynolds, because if we go with one of the higher priced options there, we're losing out on what, $1,300, $1,400?
Right. Yeah.
So I would prefer to go with Reynolds because honestly, the way that offense works, I think Reynolds has the same percentage chance of catching a touchdown as the other 2, and that's going to be the main separator. And Reynolds, he's been up and down to a certain extent. I feel like that entire team is up for this game. I see him scoring a touchdown in this one.
Well, the last 4 weeks, he's actually seen at least 7 or more targets 3 out of the 4 weeks. And he did find the end zone twice in week 17. Now, granted, it was week 17, so I don't want to put too much weight into it. But he does have that red zone potential. And I agree. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors when it comes to who's going to get some red zone looks between him, Woods, and Cooks.
Yep.
So I'm down with that. Let's get Josh Reynolds in there. And then at the flex spot, we have $4,800 remaining.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. And to be frank, we don't have a New England Patriot in there yet, and there's a couple different New England Patriot options that really jump out to me. I've got Sony Michel at 4,700. I've got Rob Gronkowski at 4,600. We do have potentially Spencer Ware, who was limited in practice today with a hamstring injury. He's been on the shelf for the past couple weeks. I don't really like him all that much because Damian Williams has looked pretty darn solid. So that's kind of what I brought up. I mean, Ted Ginn Jr. is active again for New Orleans.
Give me Gronk.
I agree. Like, I want to see Gronkowski. It's the playoffs. I mean, you think that if Tommy Boy is going to go ahead and show up, now's the time to show up and show out. And Gronk has had a really quiet season, but he's still capable of putting up monster games at 4,600. That guy is probably one of the best dart throws for this entire divisional weekend of DraftKings action.
Yeah, I mean, the Gronkowski, at least in terms of production, and I guess it parallels to DraftKings FanDuel as well. His downfall is reminiscent of that of Dirk Diggler. You know, top of the world, gets all the chicks, spiraling down. Now he's $4,700. And I say we invest in him. We build this brand back up. We're Team Gronk today.
You got to buy low, man. And his price tag is never going to be any lower than it is. I mean, he's topped 30 yards receiving once in the last 5 weeks, and he put up a goose egg in week 16.
Ghost. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Let's do this. Lock him in. That's the lineup. Run through it for me one time.
Yeah, sorry, Levy. I know I just heard you jump back in and say goose, but I've got a lineup here for you, bud. We got Andrew Luck, Marlon Mack, Melvin Gordon III, T.Y. Hilton, Alshon Jeffrey, Josh Reynolds, Travis Kelce, and Gronkowski to go along with that Rams defense.
Oh, yeah.
You liking the sound of that one there, Ryan?
That sounds sexy, boys.
That sounds pretty damn solid from top to bottom.
I'm excited.
I like it. If it only takes us 19 weeks, so be it.
It sounds optimized.
Better late than never, baby. Better late than never. Late to the party.
Damn right.
All right, so we'll go ahead and enter that in. And by the way, we're going to go ahead and already throw this in the optimizer. Gentlemen, we are fully optimized for the most part. We got $200 of remaining salary, but I still love the lineup. We're going to go ahead and let this one rip. But go ahead and check out draftdashboard.com/focus. You can actually check out not only DFS plays for NFL games, but also NBA, NHL, and of course, with Major League Baseball on the horizon, you can also get your DraftKings optimizer through that tool as well. So go ahead and check out the promo code $1 for the first 30-day subscription.
See you guys next week. Good luck.
Well, wait, what about it's our favorite segment?
Oh, I thought you were signing us off.
I mean, no, I gotta we gotta give our love here to the draftdashboard.com folks.
Okay,
come on now, baby.
Inspiring stuff.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, pull the sword. Now, I think it's gonna be my first What's Bothering Bucky of the 2019 year.
So my father's still in town. They haven't kicked him out of Florida yet, so that's a victory for everybody. It's definitely on the horizon though. So I was at Publix yesterday. We're back to Publix. This is only the probably 67th What's Bothering Bucky that involves Publix.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good clip there. Boys, Publix is on the hot seat. You want to know why?
Why?
I called my dad. I'm in there. I'm like, hey, what are you really feeling for dinner? And he immediately goes, I want fried chicken. I said, well, I'm at the right place, my man. So I saddle up there to the old fried chicken units. And I was looking at, they probably had like 7 or 8 of the 8-packs there. And I was really looking over these things with a fine-tooth comb, kind of like Sherlock Holmes with a magnifying glass, trying to find the crispiest and the most juicy chicken.
Oh, yeah.
So I find the one that definitely, these were just prime. What a beautiful breast on these things. Wonderful wing. And just, the thighs on them. It was making me salivate, fellas. So I picked up this pack. Once again, it's supposed to be an 8-pack. And get home. By the time we were about 30 minutes shy of kickoff last night, it was nice to see Clemson win, by the way. I like that. 30 minutes shy of kickoff, I bust out that pack of fried chicken. And if you know anything about my dad, he absolutely crushes food. And he's the skinniest guy. It's like,
yes.
I don't understand. I've never seen anybody be able to just house through meals like him. And as a kid, I was always trying to emulate him, which is why I am the way I am now. your role model's over there housing 2 full plates of dinner. Well, I could do the same thing, right? Well, the answer to that is I weigh twice as much as him. But we open up the 8-pack of the fried chicken. And fellas, there's 6 pieces of fried chicken in the 8-pack. That's only 3/4 of the allotted chicken.
That's not good.
You denied me 1/4 of the chicken I was promised. You know, like that old saying, the prince that was promised?
Oh, I know that saying.
That's the chicken that was promised. Yep. And I did not get that chicken. So Publix, you are on the hot seat officially. You know, we've had our run-ins. We've definitely had our run-ins. But nothing nearly as egregious as leaving out 2 pieces of an 8-piece fried chicken. I'm not sure I'm going to recover. So please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Keep my father's stomach in your thoughts and prayers, because he tore through 3 pieces, and I'll tell you what, he really could have used that extra wing.
You really just hate to see it, Bucks.
Yeah, it's a really rough go. You know, from now on, if I want fried chicken, I'll go to Popeyes. That's my new stance. Sorry. You just lost me for life on the fried chicken. But everything else, deli, delectable. I'm on delectable now, Tate.
I mean, that's a good word. And I mean, you said salivate earlier. I meant to correct you, salitate. But the only thing that I can't I got to disagree with you with the Publix deli. It's absolutely fantastic, but their process of getting people through in a timely manner is completely botched. Takes way too long to get yourself an amazing sub. So
you got to call ahead.
I mean, I do call ahead and utilize the online aspect of it, but they only have one of the deli making sandwich folks committed to online orders. Now, 2 or 3 of the other folks are for people that are standing in line in person. So I don't feel like the online is quite the priority.
Tate, can you take a step back for a minute and just hear me out? I want them to make love to my sandwich. I want them to put so much loving into that sandwich.
In time.
I want there to be oil, vinegar everywhere. I want that thing to be so nice and tight, like a real nice tight sub. You know what I'm saying? No corners cut, a lot of heart put into that thing, a lot of effort. I don't want them to be thinking this is Subway where they got to get this soup line moving quick. You know, there's filling up cups of soup. And that's the way they treat their subs. I don't want that. I want it to be a labor of love.
Well, we just have different philosophies as far as how it can be handled time management wise. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't love the love and care that they put into a sandwich because I do prefer to go to Publix, even though now I'm up here in Chicago where they don't have a Publix and I miss the hell out of it. And I always get the same thing. The double meat Italian boar's head.
Of course it's double meat.
Of course it's double. Everything's double meat.
That's gross, dude. You're eating a bunch of. Listen, it's one thing to get like double turkey. You go double Italian, double salami, double gabagool, gabagool.
Yeah.
My goodness, sir, that is the greasiest sub. That is the greasiest goddamn sub. I couldn't even imagine even eating that.
Rubber gloves.
Just having a heart attack over here, fellas. It's fine. It's a bowl of sausage lying in my arc.
Gabagool.
So we do actually have a couple folks joining us live. Arturo Robles, good show, guys. I've really enjoyed it this season. Keep up the great job. Hey, thank you so much for the support, man. We really appreciate it. It's been a hell of a 2018 season. Yeah, we're looking forward to 2019. But Burt Boy 878, guys, I'm going to hit you with it real quick. Number 1 seeded team most likely to lose this weekend, Chiefs or Saints? Levy, I'll throw it to you first.
Chiefs. Colts money line, baby. That's our play of the week.
Andy Luck next year.
I'm saying Saints. They're playing the defending Super Bowl champions. I'm not continuing to doubt Nick Foles, even though I'm picking the Saints to win. I am picking the Eagles to cover. And there's just something about BDN, man, that just keeps getting the damn job done.
Hog City. You ever seen the movie Wild Hogs?
I have.
Terrible movie, but I'm pretty sure BDN was in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap, it's the Golden Knight.
Hey, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We've had a blast this year.
And 13th Apostle, you too as well. Humana. All right. So, guys, go ahead and check us out. Find us everywhere you can find podcasts, including Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. Of course, if you have not yet done so, punch the like button. We really appreciate all the support. And punch the subscribe button, as we're going to be coming out with some college previews for incoming draft prospects. We're going to be coming in with some 2018 players that we're kind of got a small sample size on video. I'm going to do some video breakdowns here at the beginning part of the off season because we got to fill the time with something, man. We got to have some football regardless of whether there's actually football being played or not. And of course, if you guys want to join in into our DraftKings weekly contest, go ahead and drop in the comments what your DraftKings username is so we can go ahead and send that out to you throughout the rest of the playoffs. Also, go ahead and subscribe to us on all those other formats and drop us reviews on iTunes. We really appreciate all the support. Of course, draftdashboard.com. We already mentioned it. Check it out, draftdashboard.com/focus for $1 subscription for the first 30 days. It's a great tool. We make money with it. You'll love it too. Until next time, later, says a tater.
Snooty would have really been pissed over the 6 out of 8 fried chickens. Really pissed.